Hello, friends. Welcome back. Been a little bit of time since I've looked at this, and I think it's probably been a little bit of time since you've looked at it. But hey, that's cool. Luckily, we're right where we left off. Remember to start recording the video this time. Yeah, remember to set the timer. All these cool things that help us to create a YouTube series. And now we're just gonna get into it. So hey, what we're doing today, we're gonna do toning, and then we're gonna get into color. I don't know how much toning I'm going to do. We did some extras with the blacks last time, which I actually might add a few more blacks before we cruise on into Tonesville. Just kind of here on the wrong tool. Just kind of here like on the back of Senshi's legs, just to give us a little bit of depth, and on the feet. Yeah, that's good. Oh, hey, look, we forgot to do toenails. Let's do some toenails. Oh. Lovely. Everybody loves a toenail. Oh, up top as well. Just a hint of a toenail. To show you that he's got foots. And then I think we will do a quick darkening pass. I don't know what to call it other than a skirt. That ain't even necessarily a bad thing. I'm just not entirely sure that's what it is. It's less, I feel like he's got less of a skirt and more of like, shirt no pants, right? Donald Duckin over here. Donald Duckin in a dungeon. There's the episode title. All hyped up for this one now. Okay, so like I said, tone and then color. With a big piece like this, we have opportunity to do detail that might not necessarily have been able to do on something smaller. In the world of digital art, it really doesn't make all that much difference because, a lot of cases people are going to be looking at this on their phone. You might be watching this video on your phone right now. Detail is more important for printing, and I do this at full poster size at 600 dpi, so I can print it, if I want to, and I probably will want to because I love dungeon meshing, and I think that people would probably buy it if I brought it to a show or something like that. I'm a big fan of posters. So that's the reason we do that. So I have to keep that in mind that I actually am going to print this, and I can't just, draw for phones. Which is not always the case. I am actually considering. Now don't get excited because I'm just considering it. But being a little bit less of a grumpy old man and trying to potentially do some vertical scroll stuff for comics. Specifically for phones. For your mobile phone. I don't know. I was talking to a writer I'm working with the other day, and the subject came up, and I've been thinking about it, and it's like, you can grumpy old man this crap, or you can try to embrace the future. Now, I personally am never going to let go of my love for page layout, page design, traditional print format. That's just the way I like to work. That being said, it is only very recently that I started doing printed volumes of my work. I exist exclusively in the digital sphere in a lot of places, so why not, embrace that? Alright, so, we're gonna do one of these, yeah? I disappeared the background with the food so that it wouldn't confuse me, and we're probably going to leave that invisible for most of the tone pass. I do not want, I don't think, the trail that I made here to be toned, because I think it will get confusing with the background. Now, the background is probably going to end up being a colored tone. It's going to have to be. Otherwise, it's going to get very muddy with the shadows that I put on the characters. So we're gonna have to, it's gonna have to end up being something orange. It's probably going to be orange. Let's just make it orange. That's more brown than orange. Brendan loves saturated colors. Classy. Alright, we'll worry about all that later. Okay. It's almost like working two pieces at once. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's almost like that. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about just what a very unkind world we live in sometimes. And how it's really up to, it's my Mr. Rogers moment for the day, but it is really up to us to, combat that. To try to create a space for others that is kind and welcoming. And that can be hard sometimes, but it is important. It's important that somebody be doing that. And whenever you think to yourself, someone should do this, the answer is usually, you should do it. To bring this back around, that's what your comic should be, right? If you're, I see this all the time. People saying, someone should make a comic like this. Somebody should make a comic like that. Somebody should do this or that or the other thing. And it's, when it's people who have never done comics before, you can't just say, like, make it yourself. I mean, you can, but it's not particularly constructive. But I see, like, people I consider to be professionals out here just being like, somebody ought to write that. It's like, why not you? You do it. Make the things you want to see. They say, you know, that's a very hackneyed phrase, right? Be the change you want to see in the world. And that could be difficult to envision. Because it's like, well, I want world peace. Don't we all? How am I gonna do that? And there's, you know, probably more that we could do than but I'm talking small scale stuff. I'm a small scale thinker in a lot of things like this. And the hope being that if you do enough small scale things, they will add up into, you know, large scale things. And so it's like, as a creative, this is like the easiest one. As a creative, if you see like a piece of media that you think should exist in the world and does not, it's down to you to make that. That's on you. That's the reason that Marukuru Destroy the Moon exists. I read all the Robert E. Howard Conan stories, right? I mean, I love Conan the Barbarian. And there are women in those stories, but they're not... It didn't... I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this, because you got like Bellet, who I think is probably the highest recurring character, female character in Conan, and she's a pirate, and she's a, you know, general ass kicker, and Valyria from the movies, or from the first movie, I should say, is kind of a combination of, I can't remember if there's actually a character named Valyria in the Howard fiction. In any case, the moral of the story is Robert E. Howard really didn't write women all that well. He just didn't. And he didn't have to, because he was writing for men's adventure magazines, and it was the 30s and nobody cared. But that was, I mean, among the multitudes of other problems that are, I'm talking about this and I'm realizing I need to be thinking about what direction the light source is coming from. Right, I think I'm okay. There's so many problems with those early serials, and everybody can jump on the H.P. Lovecraft as racist bandwagon, and he was. They all were, though. I don't really care if this is one of those things where it's like it exists in the text. You can read it. I don't care if Robert E. Howard had black friends. If he did, they should have been angry at him for writing the way he did. Like the text of the artifacts that we leave behind, right? So this is the thing for me, is like I wanted to create, because I love that aesthetic and the style and the gritty fantasy of those adventure serials, and I wanted to create something like that, but that people could enjoy and not feel offended by, that wouldn't have to come with a warning label, right? And I wanted it to be led by a female character, because that's just not something I had ever seen, and it's something that I wanted to read, and it's something that I thought should exist. And so, hey, here I am. I made it. And that's just, that's a really important starting place for when you want to make something. Boy, I feel like I'm making him look really old. Too many lines on the face makes a character look old. And I don't mean that from like a wrinkles perspective. I mean, like, if you put lines and markings on a character's face, the more that you do, the older and the more tired or whatever that they will look. That's just how it happens. That's why every character that I won't say names, but that's why every character that a certain famous comic artist from the 90s, all of their characters look like they're 90 freaking years old, because they just have so many lines on the face. That was the style of the time. But it's why all anime characters look typically super young, because they just have very, very plain faces. Very wide open faces, childlike in a lot of ways. And so we just kind of have to keep that in mind as we're working on this, just to not make them look too old. Because it's funny, you put too many lines on a young character's face, and they will look old. By the same token, and this is something that I always think is hysterical in Final Fantasy XIV, is if you don't put lines on a character's face, you can't make them look old. And they think that they can take these Lalafell characters and tack a beard onto them, and it's like, this is a wizened old man. It's like, no, that's a baby with a mustache. Ooh, another episode title, potentially. I got a million of them today. You can tell I took a week off from recording, right? Alright, that'll work for that. This is tone week, right? This is where it starts to get fun. I have fun with every step of the process, but it is nice to be working on something and have it look like the thing that you want it to be. There's nothing like having to explain to somebody, use your imagination, this is going to be very cool. I was with my niece and nephew recently, and they're very young, and they were kind of fascinated by what I was doing. I was at a family affair, and I had some some work that needed doing. Luckily, it was a very relaxed atmosphere, and I was able to kind of just pick away at this while not being too much of a stranger to everyone. But I had to work on this cover for a book, and it's a spooky. as I explained over and over again, it's a spooky horror book. Maybe don't look. But they were very fascinated by it, and I had to explain what was happening and what was going on and what I was doing. And they did a pretty good job of not getting in the way. I eventually gave up and just let them play with the thing, because that's clearly all they really wanted to do. But it just it was a good experience, because it's like it's when you're working on something that's only half done, and a young child can come up and look at it and identify what's going on and what's happening. It's a good feeling. It feels like you're doing your job. This always does so much to add life to the drawing, I feel. There's a lot of times where I'm thinking to myself, do I really want to do a tone layer? Maybe I just leave it with the black and whites. But then I get going on, and it's like, nah, this really adds a lot of depth, especially for something like this, which is like a big poster that we're taking a long time to do. If I was rushing pages out the door or something like that, I might not take the time with it. But for something like this, which is a labor of love, we can really bring a lot home on the drawing by doing this. So that's why we're taking the time to do it. Hey, I just wanted to take 1 second, because I had a comment last week about the music on the episodes. And somebody asked me where the music is from, and the music is original compositions that I did. I'm very afraid of copyright bots, and you can't get copyright struck if you own all the copyrights. So yeah, I record the music myself. I do it just in Audacity, and I have a tiny little Casio keyboard that's practically a toy, and I have like a what do you call it, stylophone, that is also practically a toy, and then a couple of other. I play the guitar and all kinds of other things. I don't think any of that has made it into any of the videos, but maybe someday. But yeah, I did a little bit of audio recording. I have a small background in music and audio stuff, so I'm able to do that, which is cool. So yeah, that's where the music comes from. If you like the tracks all that much, I can try to make them available at some point. What have you? Let me know. Sound off in the comments. Hey, that's it for today. Stick around for the plug, and I will see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked what you saw, like, comment, subscribe. If you're learning to draw, you know somebody else who's learning to draw and might get something out of this, maybe suggest the video to a friend. That always helps me out a lot. Hey, if you're looking to contribute financially to this whole situation, check out my Ko-fi page or my Substack, link in the description. I got a free newsletter on the Substack that you can follow to catch up with anything that I might be doing, including videos, comics, illustrations, etc. There's also going to be membership tiers where you can get access to exclusive video series like Drawing Through Dragon Ball, or to my Leaded Pulp comic magazine, which is coming out for its first issue in July. So hey, check out these things, and I'll see you next time.